It's Alex Belfield in the morning at BBC Radio Leeds. Nice to see you today. It's always an honour and a thrill to meet somebody you've admired and loved and listened to for many years, for different reasons as well. We've come to the Leeds General Infirmary to talk to Michael Crawford today. How are you?
Yes, thank you. Nice to see you, Alex. Thank you.
I forgot the OBE bit. I'm sorry about that.
Oh, that's okay. I left it in the car.
How are you doing? I mean, it's so interesting to be you right now because you have two lives, really, a comedy life in the past and a musical theatre life. And then, of course, your charity work that you're doing today. You're in a great place, really, where you can pick and choose.
It's very fortunate, yes. I mean, I've been around for as long as a vintage car now, I think I qualify to be. But I've eased up on the amount of work I want to do. And so, but it hasn't eased up on my eagerness to work with the Sick Children's Trust, which is why we're up in Leeds today. And that all started a year ago when the hospital was moving everything to one section, so that the children's where we had Eckersley House built, we had to move it. And what it does is it provides accommodation for the parents of sick children who are here with life-threatening diseases. And the first family in today, for instance, come from Hull. And the little boy is seriously ill, and then they have a 3-year-old sibling who's most distressed because he can't come and be with his mother and father. So this enables everyone, the family, to be together, and that's what we've done for the last 25 years, with the help of the public. And the remarkable thing is that Leeds has got this together in 11 months, which is quite extraordinary.
It's so important that organisations and charities and groups like this give a place for parents to go, because life is very cruel sometimes and we never expect our children to get ill or even worse. And at that time, you're so desperate, you need someone to turn to and a place to go.
Yes, and this allows them to do that, and also no charge is made to the family, so that they have a bed to come back to at night, they have somewhere for the sibling to stay, they have showers, they have a kitchen, they have other families who are in similar predicaments often, and they can counsel each other, and that's comforting and thereby healing in the end. So it's I think, performing a very useful service.
You're an incredibly famous star around the world. You must have a lot of charities ask for your approval and to jump on board. Why this particular charity?
Well, this one came to me because of something that happened to me when I was about 8, and my mother was 2 hours late picking me up when I'd had my tonsils out. And in those days, it was quite a painful experience. I think it's a little more painless nowadays. And I cried and cried and cried because I felt sort of left alone, and I never forgot it. So when this opportunity came up, 20-odd years ago, right at the sort of the concept, I arrived about a year later, and then 2 years later became the president, and have proudly been the same ever since. But we did an advertisement for the BBC on television. You used to have those Sunday afternoon advertisements for charities, and we did one with the Barnum Company, and we went to a hospital somewhere like Great Ormond Street, and we entertained the kids, and it raised more money than they'd ever raised for a Sunday afternoon slot of this nature. And so I was just tied at the waist from there on, and I've been with them ever since.
What are you? Because I've followed you through so many elements of your career, all of which I love. Musical theatre is a big passion of mine. I've seen you many times on stage, and you blow us away with that. Comedically, you're brilliant. And of course, under all that, you're an actor. What are you?
I think an actor, basically, and I've always been happier acting and playing a real character. So that by creating Frank Spencer, and people will hear as soon as I laugh, they'll go, "Oh, there's his laugh," and I go, "Oh yeah, I do have that sort of laugh. It's a bit strange." And then Phantom was something that the music gave me. I just heard Andrew Lloyd Webber's music, and it hit some chord inside me and made the hair stand up on the back of my head, and I found the character, I mean, within a minute or so, the basis of that character, and gosh, I wish it always happened like that. I suppose most actors do. So, and then Barnum, I suppose these things have been big things in my life, but they're all very, very different. And I never thought I'd actually end up as a singer, and having sold 22 million copies of an album like the Phantom. I mean, it's just not something you really ever think you're going to do when you've been doing All Betty for a few years. So, and then I got a concert career, so I was able to go out and tell stories on my own as me. And again, I never thought I'd be able to do that, but they're all stories about what has happened on the journey, and I have fun doing that. But just slowed up now, not doing quite as much.
I know you take what you do very seriously, but it's so rare in somebody's career to have two big hits for two very different things. Oh, yeah. Do you regard yourself as very blessed in that way?
Oh, unbelievably so, yes. Unbelievably so. Is that people say, oh, you know... I mean, I've had my misses as well, I can tell you, and when you get those, they're not too pleasant. But the hits mean... Obviously. I mean, when you first hear something you've done on the radio, if they play something you've sung, you go, that's me, that's me. I mean, you're just like a child in a toy shop. And I can't think that would ever change for someone like Sinatra. I mean, I'm sure he got excited when he heard himself on the radio. It's a thrill.
When you see Frank on the TV now, or you hear that big song from Phantom on the radio, which I still play because we always go back to the original cast recording with any show, so you're played around the world. Do you see that as you now, or is that almost a different person?
No, I mean, it's all been part of my the person that I am now. We just develop, and so when I look back, I watch it with my grandchildren, and we sit there and laugh together, because the characters are always him. It's not me. I'm playing him. I'm playing someone else. So, and I go, look at him. I'll go to the children. Just look at him. What he's doing, and I'll laugh rather. I suppose. Immodestly at myself.
When you look at Phantom, what really fascinates me about that is it's still in the West End. Shows come and go, even the biggest come and go. They never last as long as Phantom. No. Do you think there was a certain alchemy with that show between Andrew's writing, your performance, and Sarah's performance? Because that's so rare.
Absolutely. I think every single person, I've always said this, that with Gillian Lynn as the choreographer, with Maria Bjornsson, the designer, with Hal Prince, the director, with Andrew's music, and with Sarah's performance, everything, every element gelled. And of course that doesn't always happen, because otherwise we'd have a lot more of these shows running forever and ever. But it was just... I think we even felt something extraordinary in rehearsal. And not that we were going to get the reviews we got and it would run as long as it did, but we certainly didn't feel... I mean, it was off the wall for me to play a character like that. I mean, it was laughed at in the West End, most probably. Thank goodness there wasn't much internet then and I couldn't read about it. But the abuse I must have been getting, saying, oh, who does he think he is doing that? So luckily I was in a bit of a bubble, and just the rehearsal rooms, and I worked at it, and we did it and locked ourselves away. And reap the rewards from the result.
You've got such pathos to your voice and such emotion with it. You're one of the few voices that make me cry. Are you aware of that when you're doing it? Because it's such an emotional performance.
The words mean so much to me when I sing them. If I'm in a play and my mother dies or something, I'm related to my own life, and I'm half Irish, so my grandmother was always singing me songs about little, boys who've gone to heaven with the angels far above, and I spent my childhood crying my eyes out on a Friday night listening to the family sitting around singing Irish folk songs, and that was good fun. Yes, well, it was otherwise it was outside and the war was just finishing, so we did have a good time. But I think I grew up as a pretty sensitive soul, yeah, and I don't regret that at all, because when I do sing a song, it means what it meant to me when I was growing up and singing songs, when I got my first girlfriend when I was about 8, I'd listen to these songs, sweet, sweet memories you gave me. I mean, maybe they're historic. No one will know what I'm talking about now. But you'd sit there and think of this girl, in kindergarten with you. Oh dear, my case comes up next week.
I sound like an old fart, but are they writing them like they used to? Because they're not lasting as long now. There's a couple of exceptions to that rule, Les Mis and Phantom, which seems to be here forever. Could we tempt you back with anything?
I'm sure if it was different enough. It's just you want to do something that is different. If you've done shows that, again, we've been lucky enough to run for a long period of time, you don't want to do the same thing again. So it would have to be very, very different character, and something that would keep you amused 8 shows a week and intrigued so that you could hold the audience.
Thank you for coming to Leeds today. It's a real honour to meet you, and the Leeds General Infirmary is home to this beautiful facility, which is really lovely, beautifully decorated, and it's homely, and I suppose that's the most important thing. It's got to be a home for the children who are sick and their families.
We still need. There's a shortfall on this house, so we still need help, and it costs about 90,000 a year to actually maintain the house. There are so few maintenance charges that go into this charity, so that every penny is used. So if anybody is interested, go to the website, Sick Children's Trust, and that'll tell you how to help us out. But bless you for what you've done this year, Leeds. It's been amazing.
Will you come on and talk to us again, because this is a real thrill. I could talk to you for hours. Thank you.
I'd love to. Thanks, Alex.
Michael Crawford on BBC Radio Leeds.